ask everybody if they want to say l'chaim. We'll be going around with l'chaim. As the Rebbe taught us, that you're right with Bekasher, the Siyum with the Aschala, Sheshkar Chaim Yisrael for the Siyum, Taka should be a Siyum on the Golos, and right away the speech should be right away to Aschal Sagula. We'll ask your Rabbi Mendel Blau to start to give a shir on the Aschal Rambam, and it's very special for us because the second week in a row that Rabbi Blau was with us, and the first year was Oiseg Gevenlich, so we expect nothing less. And maybe we'll get a Shleisha Pam Havik Hazaka.
Yeshkoyach. It's not so easy to be second after such an intensive, deep shir. End of the Rambam, Hilchos Menachem, the Rebbe. We didn't have a yechidus from the Rebbe. They actually have a recording from it, where the Rebbe said that Hilchos Menachem ekenas hafeisim veinig. The Rebbe kocht in it tremendously, and many times by the Hadronim. The Hilchos Menachem part, the Rebbe was meidich with tilim shel halachos, and when it came to the Aschala, it was the end of the Farbrengen. The Rebbe said, "V'yesh lekasher zeh with the Aschala." You look in Chelik Chav Zayin, or in Sefer Sichos Tavshnon Aleph. So Reb Chaim Yisrael did an unbelievable job going through the last halacha. And we'll connect this to the Aschala. We'll also talk a little bit on a practical level. When it comes to the Siyum HaRambam, some people have a natural simcha because they finished the Rambam. Some people have a natural simcha because they identify as a Lubavitcher. This is the Rebbe's Siyum, this is a Chagiga. But there's other people that have a certain mixed feeling, a certain feeling of guilt. What Siyum? When Siyum? Siyum on what? I learned the whole thing. Did I even say the whole thing? Was there nights that I fell asleep without it? Or I fell asleep in middle on it? So when it comes to the Siyum, good. I'm not saying this is the way it should be, but I'll go upon him certain people. It's shaykh that within us, I'll go upon him some of the years, we're not mamish margish, the simcha shel Torah and the Siyum as a personal simcha. We identify it as a klal. The klal is Messiah, the Rambam. But when it comes to the Aschala, there's another nekuda. In other words, not just is the idea that no, it's tchilasam b'seifim b'tchilasam. So the moment we're Messiahing something, we immediately are not, we don't just say Hadron Allah, but we're Mekayim Hadron Allah by immediately starting it. But there's another nekuda over here. Part of the Siyum, part of the Simcha of the Siyum, is that Sheyitoisvu loim de haramba. So it comes to the second chelik. Good, the Siyum, to feel the Siyum as your personal Siyum, you have to have been a mishtatif in Machzeh Alamed Ches. But when it comes to the Simcha of the Aschala, this is shaykh to every person, because tonight we take a renewed commitment. Tonight we take a renewed achlata that this, not just Margin, as Heint with sein Garandish. This time I'm going to do Rambam, I'm going to do it better. And each person, even the person that was Takim Messiah the Rambam, every person knows by himself, there's way, in Torah's B'li Gvul. In the way we learn Torah, it's B'li Gvul. I can learn the Torah, I can do it better. So the Rebbe spoke a lot of times, B'negeya, a shtikal chidush, B'negeya the limud of the Rambam, that there were those that tie it, that everybody knows the halacha, that Torah shebechsav, if you read it, even if a person's an Am Haaretz, if he's called up to the Torah, and he doesn't understand what he's reading, but he's called up to a chelik of Torah, he makes a birchas HaTorah. When it comes to Torah Sheba'al Peh, so it's the halacha is not that way. That l'chayra you cannot make a bracha on Torah Sheba'al Peh unless you understand what you're saying. So over here we won't go into the Arichus Hadvarim, but the Rebbe has a certain chidush over here, is that when something is nikva as a shir yoimi, when something is not just a regular limud, you decided today to make a chavrusa to learn a Ma'amer Chassidus. When something is nikva as a shir yoimi, it has a din legabi the limud as a Torah shebechsav, in the sense that you're yoytze limud ha-Torah just by the fact that you read through the words. However, since fart, it's a chelik in Torah Sheba'al Peh, which Iker in Yanoi is to understand it ba'avana v'asaga. So the Rebbe spoke very often that a person shall upon him take one halacha, and this one halacha, learn it well, learn this one halacha ba'avana v'asaga. So again, in each and every, by each one of us, I have a cousin. Well, unfortunately, just recently marked the yard site of his son, of his Bechor. His son, this is Rabbi Bornstein, Shliach in Toronto. His son, before he passed away, throughout the entire duration of his sickness, he was extremely connected to Limud HaTorah, even before he got sick, but it became mamish in his batam and he wasn't able to go to school. All he wanted to do was to sit and learn, to have chavrusas, to learn with him around the clock. And especially so, b'negei the takon of Limud Rambam. So, we just, as classmates, we had a shir together, and he said a gewaldige thing. He said that in memory of his son, he says this is the first year, he's doing Rambam every year, but in the memory of his son, he sat down this year and did the Rambam the way his son demanded, that each halacha ba'avana v'asag, he said some days it took him 2 hours. It's a gewaldige zach. Pashut sat down and did every halacha in Rambam. There are those in this room that don't necessarily feel they can do that. To go to put every night, not to miss a day, and to do each day ba'avana v'asag is shver. But on that there's that eitz, and again this is the nekuda, the underline of the aschala, I'll let everybody get the Amber Alert. Yeah.
It's a reminder for the Siyum.
Huh? In case I was losing, in case someone was dozing off. Amber Alert. Anyways, so the nekuda of the aschala is again to make today with the aschala has to be everybody's aschala. The aschala has to be a personal aschala. The aschala is my aschala, that when we're entering the new machzer, it's going to be much better, it's going to be gar anders, it's going to be hecher, michayel ochoyel. Akopanim, so again, each person in his oifen, not to miss, to take akopanim one halacha, to learn it ba'avana v'asaga. You have more time, do it more than one halacha. Or, like I've done with certain bachrim in yeshiva, there are certain bachrim that felt, shleisha prakim is difficult. So I said, it's an interesting eitzah, and certain bachrim did it, and they loved it. I said, you're going to learn perek echad over shleisha prakim, because you feel you want to learn every halacha. But on the other hand, certain bachrim want that iskashrus, and mitzad the iskashrus, they want the shleisha prakim, because it was clear in many sikhs. I'm not negating for a second the chshivas ha'inyan of perek echad, but in many sikhs, the Rebbe underlined that takana shleisha prakim. Reb Fitcha Pevzner, I heard from him that b'shaita, he felt that there were many people that felt left out. Shleisha prakim was beyond them. So he wrote to the Rebbe that he wants to do something, to start a recording. I forgot exactly what it was, but something to underline the ability and the chshivas of perek echad. The Rebbe didn't answer him b'chsav, but by that fabrengen, the next fabrengen after his letter, he says the Rebbe underlined in his mind for the first time more the chshivas of perek echad, that it's not just b'doichik, it's a lechatchila for a person that can't do shleisha prakim. However, going back, what certain bachrim do by us in yeshiva is they do shleisha prakim, but they divide a 3-year plan. This year I'm going to do perek, the first perek of the 3. I'm going to do it ba'avana v'asaga, and on the other 2, I'm going to do it like the Rebbe was keveh, that if it's a shir nikva, you're yaitze even ba'amira ba'alma. The second year around, my first parak will be more Lagirsa, and my second parak will be the Havana Vasaga, because it's always the same unit of 3. And on the third year around, you'll have, so like this, you'll have both milas. You'll have side that you completed the Rambam every single year, Limahad and Achtos of Kol Klal Yisrael. And if you felt that learning 3 prakim is beyond you, good, so learn the parak echad of the 3. Can't fragen on the Seitza, but in Kamikoyame. Fine. Let's take a moment to stop for a minute. An interesting sipur. A sipur about a Siyum and Rambam that took place in the year of Tav Kuf Pei Beis. Tav Kuf Pei Beis by Reb Shloime Karliner. Huh?
1922.
What's this? Tav Kuf, yeah.
1820.
What's the story? So the story has a certain hakadama, shebedavar. There was a chassid of the Alter Rebbe that was not benched with kids for many years. He asked a bracha by the Alter Rebbe, and it was clear that he felt the Alter Rebbe was not giving him that bracha. It was not. After 20 years he's married without children, he went to the Alter Rebbe with like a certain akshanos, a certain chutzpah of chassidim, and he said, "Ich kann schon manage Eisalt. I need a bracha, and I need it today." So the Alter Rebbe told him that he should go to the Alter Rebbe said, "I personally cannot help you. Go to the Shloime Karliner, and if you'll make it there on time before Chav Tevis, you'll have a Yeshua. You will be able to receive a Yeshua." He came to the Shloime Karliner. He rushed there and made it in time for Chav Tevis. And Reb Shloime Karliner was making a Siyum HaRambam. Side Reb Shloime Karliner personally was a person that learned the Rambam, had a shir kavua and limud HaRambam, and he was making a Siyum, and the Siyum was on the Rambam's yard site that year. So he waited, he was mishtatif in the Siyum, and after the Siyum he went over to Reb Shloime Karliner and poured out his heart and told him how this year he was misakish to get a bracha from the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe said he himself cannot help him, but I should come to you, and if I'll come by Chav Tevis, I'll be able to. So Reb Shloime Karliner thought about it, and Reb Shloime Karliner, after thinking a little bit about it, told him he should bring him 1,300 ruble. Should bring him 1,300. It was an enormous amount. 1,300 ruble. So the chassid thought, no, what's the nikud of this 1,300 ruble? Making a kli for a bracha, a certain pidyon nefesh, something. Why does it have to be so much? He was b'chlan out of usher. So he began to bargain a little bit. He said to Reb Shloime, I don't know if you know me, but in my matzif, I gave you 300 ruble. That's l'divrei hakel, beyond everything that I have. Reb Shloime Karliner told him, it's 1,300. It's your choice. Knew to give 1,300, it would mean that he has to enter chayvis, borrowing. He figured he has to consult his wife. Does he do it? Does he not do it? Anyways, so I'm not sure exactly where his wife was, but Al Kapanim took a while till he went home, and he's misyayitz with his wife, and his wife tells him, what's the choice? The choice is not to have children. So give the 1,300. So he goes back to Reb Shloime Karliner. By the time he got back, it was already Chaf Aleph Tevis. He comes to Reb Shloime and he says, I'm ready to give it. And Reb Shloime tells him, I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. So here, the Shvira, until now, was difficult. Everything is crashing now. What's going on? Doesn't begin to understand. He feels like Ilu the tzaddikim are playing with him. First an exorbitant amount. He comes back. He was masking to this exorbitant amount. Now I can't do it anymore. Shloime told him, "It's not. I can't do it for you." So he goes back to the Alter Rebbe, and he asks the Alter Rebbe, "What's going on over here?" And explain me such a strange minhag, such a strange behavior. So the Alter Rebbe told him as follows: many years. It's unfortunate. It's a sad story, but I'm sharing it over here. You see the idea of a Siyum Rambam and the koyach of the limud of Rambam. Alter Rebbe tells him that many years ago, when you were much younger, you were mevaze a chashuv talmid chacham from the tzaddikim nistarim, from the talmidim hanistarim of the Baal Shem Tov. The Alter Rebbe told him the name. The name, I wrote it down over here. I'm not great with names. Rabbi Yisachar Ber of Kablinik. You were mevaze him. Yeah, of Lubavitch, very good. This person was from a Talmud of the Maggid. He was a shtickle teacher to the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe tells him that because you were mevaze him, the din is a person who's mevaze a Talmud Chacham is dinoi is in Cherem. And if the Talmud Chacham passes away and he was not mefayis the Talmud Chacham, there's no eitzah. There is an eitzah that's brought down, according to some. We'll see it in Halacha. It's not in Shulchan Aruch. It's not nifsek this way. It's a machlekes of Bav Yerushalmi. If it works, to at least give koifer nafshay, to give the value, to so to speak redeem yourself with the kanas. But in Shulchan Aruch, the halacha is that since we're not koines knesses in these days, so it doesn't work. So there's no Yeshua. Says the Alter Rebbe, because this person that you were mevaze was by me a Rebbe, it was bechlal not in my ability I didn't feel it would be right for me to be moichel or to do anything. So was happens to Shlomo Karliner? Shlomo Karliner did not learn by this person. But over here, listen to the words. Says the Alter Rebbe to him, the Rambam is the poisek that paskins in two places, that even today it works if you give a shtickle of gold. The lashon is litra shalzav. The Rambam brings down, and the Rambam says even biyameinu noyagim kein in Hilchos Chayvel Mazik. The Rambam brings it down. You can give a litra shalzav. So the Alter Rebbe tells him that if Shlomo Karliner, which is a person which is a loymid harambam b'kfius, had the ability on Chav Tevis, which is the Yom of the Hilul of the Rambam, to cause that in based in Shomayla they should follow the Psak Din of the Rambam and allow you to redeem this Kitrug and Gzeira of being in a Nidui, La'ad La'omi Elam without kids. Because there's no Yeshua for such a person. He had the ability to redeem you with a liter shalzav. A liter shalzav in conversion rate was 1,300 ruble. So it's not that Reb Shlomo Karliner was looking to get a donation for his maistis. Reb Shlomo Karliner was following a formula from the Rambam on Chav Tevis to cause the liter shalzav to be made for the Gzeira. He gave it to you. He gave you the choice. You came back. It's already not Chav Tevis. It's not Chav Tevis. So the halacha follows the Roiv, and the Roiv paskin that today we don't do it. So even if Shlomo Karliner was not able to help you, the chassid was broken, but he was hopeful. Good. Chav Tevis comes around next year. So he marked it in his calendar that next Chav Tevis he will make sure to be there at Shlomo Karliner with 1,300 ruble, and he'll finally get his tikkun. That summer of Tav Kuf Pei Beis, Reb Shlomo Karliner was killed by the Cossacks. So it didn't work out. So it's a harsh story to finish off, but from deswegen I remembered about the story, thinking about the idea of Ershton's the precedence, how much we can go on and on about the precedence of how many Gedolei Yisrael were Keveya Shiurim Kavuyim Berambam. And second of all, about this Nekuda, the Dafker of Shlomo Karliner, which had this Kviyas, had the ability to follow the Psak Din of the Rambam. If we're already talking about this, so we'll mention a few other interesting things in terms of the school of the Rambam. A lot of the things are famous, but from deswegen, when we're starting the Aschala, so sometimes it's the concept of Dibra Torah Keneged HaYetzer. Sometimes it's good, even the Yitzhahara should be on board. What's the interest? How it's in our interest, Begashmias, even Shaloi Lishma, to sit and make a Kviyas and take it this year much better than we took it in the years before. The Rebbe Grada has a famous Sikha where the Rebbe learns where a lot of times we look at the Shaloi Lishma, we look at it, no, if you mamish need it, so you'll do Shaloi Lishma, but it's better jump Lishma. The Rebbe learns from the Lashon, La'olam yilmad adam. La'olam. Mitoich Shaloi Lishma, ba Lishma, the Rebbe learns, it's impossible for someone to ever come to a level of Limud Lishma unless he first allows himself to go through the process of Limud Shaloi Lishma. So I'm mentioning a few inyanim about the Shaloi Lishma, Kimuvin, eventually will come to Lishma, but La'olam we have to pass through the Shaloi Lishma in order to get there. The Rebbe, there was a person that wrote to the Rebbe about the tremendous chayvis that he was in. And he asked the Rebbe for a bracha. The Rebbe answered him back, did you pay up your chayvis in Rambam? When you will pay up your chayvis in Rambam, the Eibishter will help you to go out of your other chayvis. Strong lashon. There's another Fabrengen. This was Mitzvah Chanukah Tavshin Memvav, where the Rebbe spoke about the Gemara in Baba Kama. The Gemara in Baba Kama says that there's 83 types of primary illnesses, and everything else is mistayef from these 83. And it's nirmas in the word machala. Machala is begematria 83. So the Rebbe spoke by this Fabrengen that you look at the Rambam in the Hakdama, before the Rambam starts, the first halacha, which we'll start in a minute, so the Rambam says, "V'nimtzu kol ha'alachis shel arba asar sefer shalish u'shmoinim halachis." Now, why did I look to quote this halacha? Because when you actually count how many prakim are in Rambam, you come to the number 1,000. However, that actual number, the Rambam never refers to his own halachis as being 1,000, and different versions of the Rambam, different prints, have a little bit of a debate in terms of actually how many halachas, certain prakim they divide into two, and certain prakim that are divided by us into two are divided by them in one. So the number 1,000 is not according to all versions of Rambam. However, this idea that there's 83 primary halachas of categories is l'divrei hakol, it's in the Rambam's words himself. That the Rambam writes, "V'nimtzu kol ha'alachis shel arba asar sefer," all the halachis in the yad, in the shalish u'shmoinim halachis. So the Rebbe by this Fabrengen of Mitzvah Chanukah Tavshin Memvav said that the 83 prakim of Rambam has the ability, the koyach, to remove all sorts of machlis, but not just for a person that's sick, but rather the Eibishter says that kol ha'machla asher samti mitzrayim lo yasem alecha, the lechatchila the Eibishter should promise us the gesunter health that we shouldn't need for the illnesses to be cured. We should lechatchila not get sick. How does a person attain this gula, this koyach, this nesinas koyach in his gezunt through the limud of these 83 halachis begematria machala, as the Gemara says in Baba Kama. Chassidim explain this a step further with a little bit more tam vadas, that there's a famous Gemara. The Gemara says, "Hachash bereishei yasik b'Torah." So frek de Welt, I tried it. I had a headache. I was chash bereishei. I was oisik in Torah, und es hat mir nicht geholfen. So what's the pshat? So the famous answer that's brought down in Sfarim is that Azevi the Rambam says that the mitzvahs are keneged eivarav shel adam, or like the Zohar says even more, the Rambam brings down how the 365 is Keneged Yemei Sachama. In the Zohar, it's brought down that the 365 are Keneged the Gidim, the Evarim and the Gidim. So every chelik of Torah has to do with another part. Not always are we zoichet zutreffen to the chelik of Torah that has to do with the brios of the head. So over here they were masber the farbrengen of the Rebbe in Tamadas as follows. When I'm learning one halacha in Torah, when I'm learning, I sit down and I learn a Maimer Chassidus. No, you have to be a tzaddik to know, is this Maimer of Chassidus connected to the head? Is this connected to the foot? Or you have certain Litvish Gedolim that they have a standard. If a person comes to them with a foot thing, they don't just tell them to learn Torah, they learn Perek Ketzad HaRegel. Ketzad HaRegel, Regel, Gzeir Shav, whatever. We never heard, as far as I know, we never heard this expression from the Rebbe. But Al Kapanim, so that's, why are they picking Ketzad HaRegel? A chelik in Torah that's connected to Regel, L'dai Tam Al Kapanim. So over here, going back, when a person learns the Rambam is called a Torah Kula. As the lens durch der ganze Rambam is sicher, as the zutreffen hat jene chelik was hat zu tun mit der Kopf, mit der Herz, with the hands, with the feet, because it's connected. Kol Torah Kula is connected the Evarim and the Gidim. Over here is the Chais. Good. Reb Shimon Aaron Rosenfeld went right. This is Pesach Sheni of Tafshin Memvov. No, it was. Let's be accurate. A different thing that in Tafshin Memvov, I'll come back to the Shimon Aaron in a minute. In Tafshin Memvov, the Rebbe had a problem with the feet. For those that are much older than me, they'll certainly remember it. Not just from reading it, I read it. Those that are older than me saw it, lived it. So the Rebbe had a problem with the foot, and the Rebbe was not going down to the big shul. The Rebbe was davening upstairs. The first part of the story is not recorded clear. Who gave this Heirah? But the Rambam's birthday is Yudalad Nisan Erev Pesach. That most of us are in Gansen Asuk with getting the house ready. It says after Bedikas Chametz, Rebbe Levi Bistritsky, the Rav of Tzvas, gets a call. Whoever made the call, we don't know. But got a call from here in New York that whoever will go daven for the Rebbe tomorrow by the Tzin of the Rambam in Tveria, which is closer to Tzvas than it is to Kfar Chabad, etc., will receive a matan of $100. Good, so Rebbe Levi Bistritsky started making some calls, and there were 2 minyanim that even Erev Pesach being a busy day, went down to the caver of the Rambam on Yudalad Nissen and davened for the Rebbe. When they came up, when the Rebbe got the Psura, they were mechalik the Tehillim and they went back to Tzvas. When they gave the Rebbe the Duch, that the Tehillim was neschalik by the Tzin of the Rambam, the Rebbe says, this is not quoting accurately, but something to this tune. They seinen given by the Gadol Shebereifim is kemen shein arab gein zu mincha. They were today by the Gadol Shebereifim. I mean, and from then the Rebbe started going back down. Kiloi haya with the foot. Okay, this is we're verbringen a little bit, but just finished in time for Maidev. The Aschala of the Rambam starts the Ozle Avish. Some years the Rebbe explained that part in the Akdama, but then in Yisoid HaTorah the Rambam starts Yisoid HaYisoidis V'amud HaChachmis, and over here the Rambam was meramis to Shem Havaya, the Yud and the He and the Vav and the He. Leida, to know, and Leida, the famous diuk, is that in the Sefer HaMitzvahs the Rambam brings down Lahaimin, and over here the Rambam says Leida. The Rebbe in a letter writes that it's possible that in Sefer HaMitzvahs the Rambam also meant to write Leida, but it got lost in the translations. The big difference between Leida and Lahaimin, but that's beyond my time limit tonight. So Leida Sheyesha Matzoi Rishain, to know that there is a Matzoi Rishain, V'hu, and this is the important lashon over here, where the Rebbe spoke a few times, Mamtzi Kol Nimsa. Not the lashon of our Himsa, that there was a Matzoi Rishain that created, but rather like the famous Vart of the Baal Shem Tov, where the Alter Rebbe talks in Shar Yichud Ve'emunah, the L'oilam Dvarcha Avai Nitza B'Shamayim, that the Dvar Havai is Mekayim Kol Rega, the Rambam's Lashon is the Matzoi Rishon V'hu Mamtzi, B'Lashon Hoi V'Kol HaNimtza, V'Kol HaNimtzoim Mishamayim V'Aretz U'Masha B'Neihem, Lo Nimtzu Ela Me'amitas Himatzoi. And we'll just finish off that the Rebbe, in a letter, it was in a time of a tense time, by the soldiers in Eretz Yisrael. So the Rebbe got a duch that Chabad went to the bases, and the soldiers wrote that they appreciated the visit. So the Rebbe is writing back to the soldiers, and the Rebbe writes to them that a soldier, on one hand, Taka needs to know that there's a tactic to war. War has a tactic, and you have to train. But the Rebbe writes at the same time that our job is to train. Our job is to remember this first halacha of the Rambam. The Rebbe quotes this first halacha. The idea to remember that beyond all of the ishtadlus that we make as people, in the army, or in every one of our life, in whatever we need, or as a Klal Yisrael together today, we're fighting a fight of chinuch. With all the tactics that we need to make the ishtadlus al piteva, we need to remember that the Eibishter is mamsi kol nivra b'hoive, that the Eibishter, our entire kiyum, is from the existence of the Eibishter, and the more we are connected, and the more we are aware with this, and the more we live with this, we are matzliach, even with that little ishtadlus that we have to make. So zayin ha'aschala, emes ha'aschala, that's not just tonight ha'aschala, but it's nimshach ha'kol ha'shana kula.
Amen.